4B, carreteando y saliendo, suponemos que hacia la zona de Malvinas.
Came in again. Bombs thunder into the water yards from our ships. Two rockets are fired, chasing across the sky. One missile locks onto a target and explodes.
HMS Plymouth, assigned to protect, only just dodged two bombs herself. That morning, someone remarked, "This is like the wrong end of Skittle Alley." Soon, it became Bomb Alley. HMS Ardent was hit. She sank. 22 men died. In the next major attack on the Sunday, HMS Antelope was struck. We saw a hole in each side, assumed a bomb had gone through without exploding. Many ships were having such lucky escapes. Then we realized the holes didn't match. There were two unexploded bombs on board. That evening, as a bomb disposal expert worked to clear it, one of the bombs blew up. Helicopters probed the darkness for men in the water or on the deck. We could just see some of the ship's company moving about, trapped between the cold water and the fire. Either could kill. The interference comes from the ship's radar. Then the fire took hold and the ship started to blow itself up. Antelope was the same type as Ardent. Neither survived a fire following a bomb going off. We were astonished that metal ships could burn with such fury, but she didn't die easily.
And we could see the searchlights and flares as helicopters and landing craft searched the water around Antelope for survivors. And the next morning, 24th of May, burnt out, gutted, a final explosion broke her back. She split in two, and as the red-hot deck and superstructure touched the water, steam and smoke mixed and billowed up across San Carlos Bay. Antelope was gone.
Towards the end of the 7th day, welding teams trying to repair bomb damage to HMS Argonaut started a fire which threatened to get out of control. Firefighting equipment was rushed across from HMS Fearless, disappearing into the fog of smoke which quickly surrounded her. For a while, it looked like another ship would be lost. On Fearless, the crew in their flak jackets and tin helmets were monitoring another air raid. The fire was an unwelcome distraction. They had to keep watching the sky as the firefighters were winched down on the deck of Argonaut. But the fire was contained, and the Argentine aircraft failed to attack. The Royal Navy seized the opportunity to repair the ships which had been damaged. Sir Galahad, one of the troop carriers hit in an earlier raid, was able to move in close to unload hundreds of tons of ammunition stored aboard. Sir Lancelot, another of the class, with an unexploded bomb on board, was towed past to a new anchorage. With fewer ships remaining, the Commodore was anxious to gather them into a better defensive formation. Little landing craft took on the role of tugs. On Lancelot's deck were some of the vehicles still needed. The landing had been mounted with just sufficient stores. The loss of a single load would be a major setback for the troops ashore. Lancelot's side showed how lucky she'd been. There was a gash where one bomb had bounced off. Another had struck and done considerable damage, but she'd survived.
Sir Galahad and Sir Lancelot, the two knights of the fleet, are both supply ships. Both were still full of supplies when bombs hit them. The bombs did not go off. Up until then, they had survived. Sir Galahad's bomb was diffused, and it moved under its own steam past us, but Sir Lancelot had to be towed and pushed ever so gently into an anchorage by landing craft. Decks were packed with vehicles and munitions, and deep inside her were two unexploded bombs. Even as she passed us a few hundred yards away, with the hole in her hull quite visible, men inside were cutting their way through steel bulkheads to get to the bombs to defuse them. We held our breath as she passed us.
After that first day, the defenses were reassessed. Machine guns were strapped along the ship's sides. Even jets, when they dived below the missiles, put themselves within range. The Bofors guns aboard HMS Fearless claimed 2 planes. The gun crews, mostly 17 years old, soon had more battle experience than anyone else in the Navy.
Sophisticated electronic watchdogs to protect us all. It's odd then that we get the greatest comfort from the old Second World War Bofors guns by the bridge. The crew on Bofors port gun have already claimed 2 hits and another probable, and we want to believe them. Up on the decks now, almost as an afterthought, general-purpose machine guns had been mounted by Royal Marines commandos as additional air defense. Odd, we thought, with so many millions of pounds worth of missiles around us, that such a makeshift weaponry should be necessary. But fired together and in the same direction, and a pilot would have to fly through a wall of lead.
And a Type 22 frigate, broadsword, with its modern radar.
On the 25th of May, we were attacked by simply two pairs of A4 Skyhawk aircraft. Luck or no luck, we were hit by one bomb aft, which passed right through the ship, having bounced off the sea, but it did not explode.
The same day, HMS Coventry, sister ship to the Sheffield, was bombed and sank within an hour. 19 dead. The British commanders had seriously underestimated the Argentine Air Force, committing its planes and its pilots with an almost reckless willingness. One was shot down over Fearless and ended up bobbing in the water a few hundred yards away. A landing craft was sent to pick him up. Pieces of his cockpit canopy showered down on the deck. The young gunners had their first trophy. The pilot was brought into the big dock at the back of Fearless, the ship he'd just been trying to bomb. As the medical orderlies moved in, he stopped being an enemy everyone had been trying to kill, became instead a man in pain, needing urgent treatment.
Right, let's get him away now.
They gave him a shot of morphine and scrawled a big M on his forehead to prevent overdosing. The Argentine pilots impressed everyone with their skills and a bravery that verged on foolhardy.
He has got a complete fore and aft dislocation of his left knee, probably rupturing some of his thigh muscle. He had a dislocated left kneecap patella bone, which I've reduced the dislocation. We've now wrapped him up. He's got a nasty lot of bleeding around the joint. He will probably be in plaster for 2 to 3 months, I think, at the minimum, if they don't operate on him immediately.
What's going to happen to him now?
Well, I believe he'll be very lucky if he's flying jet aircraft again, but of course his skills are such that he may well be able to fly non-jet aircraft.
Thursday evening, almost dark, and the Argentines caught us by surprise again. 4 Skyhawk aircraft came in over the hills very suddenly while many of us were still below deck, and they hit the Marines' beachhead at Ajax Bay with bombs setting off explosions in ammunition dumps. One went through the field hospital, and men died in the explosions that followed. Casualties were brought to our sick bay and to the sick bays in other ships around us. It was a bitter end to a week.
The hospital at Ajax is set up in a derelict meat refrigeration plant, and for the first few days it was ideal, as any emergency field hospital can be in these conditions. There was dirt, there was dust, and there was damp. It made the risk of infection high, but the wounded brought here were young, strong men whose resistance was good. To many, the alternative to Ajax was death. On Thursday, 27th of May, in the evening, Argentine Skyhawks bombed the base. A 1,000-pound bomb went straight through the field hospital, exploding on an ammunition dump beyond. 2 more bombs lodged in the roof without exploding. They're still there. To move them, to try to defuse them, risked the demolition of Ajax. So the surgeons and every man working with them, from anaesthetist to orderly, from the Royal Navy, Army and Marines, worked on, fully aware of the threat above them.
Ashore, as British troops dug in, they too came under repeated air attack.
One day it was our turn to be caught in a helicopter during an air raid. Two of the Skyhawks turned our way, and we thought they'd attack us. The attacks come at terrifying speed. It needs slow motion to be sure what's happening. The ship stationed at the entrance of the bay took the worst of the assault. Bombs being lobbed, a near miss.
Las bombas no eran aptas. Hasta el momento de la guerra de Malvinas, la defensa del mar no pertenecía a la Fuerza Aérea. La Fuerza Aérea tenía blancos en tierra. Eran bombas para búnkers, para pistas, no eran bombas para fragatas. Y las fragatas habían cambiado acero por aluminio para cambiar resistencia por velocidad. Entonces, no es como dice gente que no sabe, porque hay mucha gente que opina sin saber y dice que eran bombas viejas. Una bomba vieja exuda, o sea, empieza el trotil a, digamos, se pone mal el explosivo y puede explotar en cualquier momento. Uno sería una bomba ambulante que estalla en cualquier momento y no éramos suicidas. Entonces, no eran bombas viejas, no eran bombas aptas. Yo no sé si se hubiera podido ganar. Sí que se hubieran logrado tremendos resultados en el caso de que las bombas estallaran, en el caso de que Estados Unidos no le hubiera dado los misiles a Iwander y M9L, porque el 80% de los derribos fue de ese misil. Sin ese misil, yo pienso que a Inglaterra no le hubieran quedado muchos barcos.